Welcome. This is a series of videos to inform the public regarding the truth of history entitled Lies About the Formation of the United States of America. This is lesson number 5, Problems in Paradise, April 26, 1783 through February 21, 1787, written by the Union States Assembly historian and the videos presented by Union States Assembly. This information can also be found on the Union States Assembly website at www.unionstatesassembly.org. We'll be doing a brief introduction to some of the basic facts you have not been taught about the formation of the United States of America by the public and private fool systems, which is where Americans get brainwashed and are told lies. In this lesson, we will be looking at several documents, which are the Journals of the Continental Congress. These documents can be found on our website as well as at the Library of Congress. It is important to produce these documents in order to prove the truth of what Union States Assembly is presenting. Without such, this could be just another one of those internet speculation videos which many people believe is being true but provide no proof of such claims. Let's get started. On April 23, 1784, Congress resolves or makes law on how the law form will be used when the Confederation or Union grows beyond 13 because the Confederation has gained land as a result of their independence. See the Journals of the Continental Congress, Volume 26, pages 274 through 279. As a way to help pay off some of the war debts, the new land will eventually be carved up into additional states or nations that will join the Confederation or Union on equal footing with the original members. During the next few years, Congress struggles to collect money from the states or nations to pay off the debt. Congress also concludes treaties with many other European nations and principalities, as well as numerous Indian nations. On August 7, 1786, Congress submits to the states 7 additional amendments or articles to the Articles of Confederation and Perpetual Union for their approval. At this point in time, Congress realizes that the federal Constitution needs to be revised in order for Congress to do the tasks assigned to them. See the Journals of the Continental Congress, Volume 31, pages 494 through 498. A convention is called for Annapolis on September 11, 1786. Only a few states or nations send delegates. A letter is written to Congress from the convention stating, "Under this impression, your commissioners, with the most respectful deference, beg leave to suggest their unanimous conviction that it may essentially tend to advance the interest of the Union of the states by whom they have been respectfully delegated would themselves occur, and use their endeavors to procure the concurrence of the other states in the appointment of commissioners to meet in Philadelphia on the second Monday in May next, to take into consideration the situation of the United States, to devise further provisions as shall appear to them necessary to render the Constitution of the Federal Government adequate to the exigencies of the Union, and to report such an act for that purpose to the United States and Congress assembled, as, when agreed to by them and afterwards confirmed by the legislatures of every state, will effectually provide for the same." See the Journals of the Continental Congress, Volume 32, pages 71 through 74. On September 26, 1786, Shays' rebels, fearing they might be charged with treason, confront 600 militiamen protecting the state Massachusetts Supreme Court session in Springfield and force the court to adjourn. This is one act of many that occurs during Shays' rebellion. This multi-act event triggers alarms through many in the Confederation. In October 1786, the Virginia legislature passes an act entitled "An Act Making Further Provision for the Erection of the District of Kentucky into an Independent State." This is the second such act, the previous being from October 1785, of which the Virginia legislature passes an act entitled "An Act Concerning the Erection of the District of Kentucky into an Independent State." The years 1787 and 1788 are pivotal in world history. Things happened in 1787 and 1788 that the public and private fool systems never taught you. Why? The controllers of America cannot reveal the truth because their lies, treason, and dogma are what keep them in power. Also, your ignorance of history perpetuates this further because very few people read anymore, and even fewer have an interest in history, and above all else, people do not want to know the truth. I can only think of a couple of quotes to explain this. Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed, by Friedrich Nietzsche, and we believe what we want to believe, and once we believe something, it becomes self-fulfilling truth, by Seth Godin. What all that means is that everyone has been indoctrinated by the Jesuit public and private full system into believing a singular nation was created, that the Articles of Confederation was superseded by the Constitution, and that the Constitution is the law of the land, and that the way things are today is through organic and lawful evolution. Hogwash, rubbish, bullshit. Belief is what you have when you cannot say you know. If you know something, do you have to have belief? The answer is no. Here is the evidence that proves the second preceding paragraph is 100% incorrect in every facet of what the Jesuit public and private full system teaches you. People, if you take away one thing from these lessons, let it be this. On February 21, 1787, a motion is made in Congress. A motion was then made by the delegates for Massachusetts to postpone the farther consideration of the report in order to take into consideration a motion which they read in their place. This being agreed to, the motion of the delegates for Massachusetts was taken up and being amended was agreed to as follows. Whereas there is provision in the Articles of Confederation and Perpetual Union for making alterations therein by the assent of a Congress of the United States and of the legislatures of the several states. And whereas experience hath evinced that there are defects in the present Confederation, as a mean to remedy which several of the states, and particularly the state of New York, by express instructions to the delegates in Congress, have suggested a convention for the purposes expressed in the following resolution, and such convention appearing to be the most probable mean of establishing in these states a firm national government. Resolved, that in the opinion of Congress it is expedient that on the second Monday in May next, a convention of delegates who shall have been appointed by the several states to be held at Philadelphia for the sole and express purpose of revising the Articles of Confederation and reporting to Congress and the several legislatures such alterations and provisions therein as shall, when agreed to in Congress and confirmed by the states, render the federal Constitution adequate to the exigencies of government and the preservation of the Union. See the Journals of the Continental Congress, Volume 32, pages 71 through 74. Notice this motion. It does not grant the convention with the power to create a new form of government, only to fix the existing one. Notice it also follows the 13th article of the Articles of Confederation and Perpetual Union on how alterations to the law form are to occur. Namely, any alterations are first to be agreed to in Congress and then passed on to the states or nations for their approval. Under the Articles of Confederation and Perpetual Union, it requires any alterations to be unanimous among the states or nations before the alteration can become law.